In June 2025, something seismic happened in global energy. Canada shipped its first liquefied natural gas, or LNG, directly to Asia from the new Kitimat terminal in British Columbia. 14 million tons left Canadian shores, bypassing US pipelines, ports, and banks for the first time ever. This wasn't just a trade deal, it was a bold declaration of independence. For decades, the US was Canada's main energy customer. The flow always went south, not anymore. The news stunned Washington. Suddenly, the old North American energy map was up for grabs. Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney saw the country's reliance on a single customer as a weakness. The Kitimat exports are just the start of a bigger strategy. Canada taking control of its resources and future. This move isn't just about gas, it's about power, leverage, and a new era of independence. By opening a direct door to Asia, Canada has changed its negotiating position with the US forever. The days of simply feeding resources south are ending. Canada is now looking east and west, not just south. This single act has reshaped the energy conversation for the continent. The aftershocks are only beginning. For decades, Canada and the US had a simple deal. Canada supplied the oil and gas, the US bought it. 97% of Canada's energy exports flowed south, tying Canada's fortunes to American demand and politics. Canadian producers had little choice. Their pipelines all pointed to the US. This arrangement brought stability, but also left Canada vulnerable to US policy shifts. When Washington canceled key pipeline projects, it sent a clear message. US interests come first. For Canadians, this was a wake-up call. The partnership felt less reliable, more risky. Relying on one customer who could block projects at any moment was no longer sustainable. Canada needed options to sell to the highest bidder, whether in Houston, Tokyo, or Berlin. The old energy order was cracking. The desire for economic self-determination grew. This set the stage for Canada's dramatic pivot under Prime Minister Carney. The status quo was over. Enter Prime Minister Carney's grand project, the East-West Corridor. It's more than a pipeline, it's a plan to rewire Canada's energy infrastructure from coast to coast. The goal: unite the country with its own energy, ending the old reliance on the US. The corridor would let Canadian energy power homes and industries nationwide, fixing the absurdity of importing oil while exporting it. It's a true nation-building project, strengthening Canada from within and reducing exposure to global volatility. Just as crucial, it opens new gateways to Asia and Europe, starting with Kitimat and more to come. By building its own routes to tidewater, Canada can finally access global prices and markets directly. Carney's government has made this a national priority, fast-tracking approvals and cutting red tape. The message is clear. Canada is taking control of its energy future. It's no longer content to be a branch plant for the American energy economy. Canada's pivot is shaking up the US energy landscape. American refineries and jobs have long depended on Canadian crude flowing south. Now, with more Canadian energy heading to Asia and Europe, the US faces supply challenges and higher prices. The old security of a friendly, stable supplier next door is gone. The US must now compete with global buyers for Canadian resources. For Canadians, this means more revenue, jobs, and national pride. For Americans, it could mean higher prices and a new scramble for supply. This is more than pipelines, it's a fundamental shift in the relationship between two close allies. Canada, led by Carney, is betting on itself as an energy superpower. The North American energy map is being redrawn, and it will never look the same again.